They say some stories are never meant to be told, especially the ones wrapped in guilt and hidden away so deep you can almost pretend they never happened. Almost. But silence isn't gentle. It scratches until you either break or speak. So here I am, speaking, not to be forgiven, but to be free. It started on a heavy Thursday afternoon in early September. I was leaving a quiet town outside Dayton, Ohio. My suitcase was light, but my chest felt heavy. I'd been married just 2 months. Small courthouse wedding. No guests. No gown. Just me, Blake, and vows we believed were unshakable. A week later, Blake's job moved him to Indianapolis. We agreed I'd follow when he was settled. Now, that day had come. I arrived early at the Greyhound station. I always do when I'm nervous. The air smelled faintly of coffee and bus exhaust. I sat, scrolling through our wedding pictures. That's when I noticed him. Dark gray hoodie. Earbuds. Paperback novel, unopened. Unlike the restless crowd, he stood still, leaning against a vending machine like he had no way urgent to be. And then, our eyes met. I looked away instantly. But curiosity is stubborn. When I glanced back, he was still watching. A faint smile flickered at the corner of his mouth. The bus was cold. I boarded, scanning for a window seat. Halfway down the aisle, a voice stopped me. Mind if I sit here? It was him. Hoodie guy. I nodded, pulse quickening. He sat beside me with easy confidence, smelling faintly of cedarwood and something warm, almost sweet. We rode in silence until he spoke. You headed to Indy? Yeah. You? New start. Haven't decided if it's temporary or forever. His name was Lucas. 24. We compared music tastes, debated genres, laughed more than I meant to. At some point, our shoulders brushed. Our hands hovered inches apart. Then the bus slowed. Stopped. Mechanical trouble, engine overheating. The driver said we'd be delayed. We stepped into the cool night air. No buildings. Just trees, crickets, and shadows. I wandered a little away from the group. Lucas followed. You always walk off alone? He asked. Sometimes. We stood near a leaning wooden post. The air between us felt charged. You cold? A little, I admitted. He stepped closer. I should have said I'm married. Instead, I let the silence speak for me. And then he kissed me. Soft. Hesitant. Like he was giving me every chance to pull away. My phone vibrated in my pocket. Blake's name on the screen. I stepped back, breathless. I can't. Lucas didn't argue. When the replacement bus arrived, we sat in silence. By sunrise, we reached Indianapolis. Take care of yourself, he said, before vanishing into the crowd. Blake met me with flowers. I smiled, but a shadow had already taken root inside me. And that was only the beginning. Weeks passed. I told myself it was just a moment, but moments can grow teeth. I didn't see Lucas again, until I did. It was a Thursday evening. Rain slicked the sidewalks as I walked home from work. I spotted him across the street, leaning in a doorway, hood up against the drizzle. Our eyes met for a second too long. Then he was gone. That night, Blake noticed I was distracted. You okay? He asked. Yeah, just tired. I lied. But then strange things began happening. A folded note in my work bag. You looked beautiful today. No signature. A text from an unknown number, still in Indy. A song recommendation slipped into my office mailbox. The same R&B track Lucas once said could make a person remember things they shouldn't. I didn't reply. I didn't tell Blake. But part of me didn't want to. One Saturday, Blake and I were at a coffee shop. I caught sight of Lucas outside. He didn't approach, just watched. When Blake stepped away to take a call, I found myself at the door, scanning the street. He was gone. That night, I dreamt of the roadside again. Only this time, Lucas whispered something I couldn't quite hear. When I woke, my phone buzzed. Another message from that unknown number. You never answered my question. The text stopped for 2 weeks. I thought maybe it was over. Then, one rainy night, there was a knock at my apartment door. I opened it to find Lucas standing there, hood down, eyes searching mine. I didn't mean to scare you, he said quietly. I just needed to see you. One last time. My heart was pounding. Lucas, you can't be here. He nodded, but didn't move. That night, I thought you felt what I felt. Maybe I made it up in my head. I just needed to know. Before I could answer, Blake's voice called from the kitchen. Who's at the door? I froze. Lucas's eyes softened. Don't worry. I'm leaving. He stepped back into the rain. I closed the door, leaning against it. Blake walked in, holding a mug of tea. Everything okay? And for the first time since that roadside night, I told him the truth. Not every detail, but enough that the shadow lifted. He was quiet for a long time. Then he took my hand. We're not perfect, but we're here. Let's work on the here. The next morning, I walked through the market with Blake. Across the street, I saw Lucas one last time. I smiled at him. Not the kind from before, but one that said goodbye. He returned it, then melted into the crowd. Some stories end in regret. Mine ended in choice, and the choice to stay turned out to be the most powerful ending of all.